Over 15 publicly traded Bitcoin mining companies exist right now. But could this one change in the industry drive them to extinction? Let's mine deep. Bitcoin mining has evolved from a basement hobby to an industrial nation-scale operation in just 14 years. And recently, many large miners have taken to the public markets in hopes of bringing on new investors. But while the future of Bitcoin has never been brighter with spot ETFs, the Lightning Network, Bitcoin circular economies, and Michael Saylor's unquenchable thirst to stack sats, where exactly does that leave these public mining companies? In 2023, several prominent mining firms saw their share prices plummet due to concerns over profitability and sustainability. As mining becomes increasingly competitive, many public companies dilute shares to raise capital, reducing existing shareholder stakes to fund expansions. Riot is just one of these public companies, and while the Bitcoin block reward went from 6.25 to 3.125 Bitcoin in 4 years, Riot's outstanding share count went from 34 million to 288 million in the same time frame. That level of printing would make even the Federal Reserve blush. This type of dilution is present in all of the big public mining companies in their ever-growing race to grow their hash rate and mining profitability by continuously investing in the latest ASICs and energy infrastructure. Publicly traded mining companies play a huge role in securing the Bitcoin network, making up about 17 to 25% of all Bitcoin mining in the world. But what if this whole industry disappears overnight? There's a new breed of Bitcoin miner in town, energy companies. With their robust infrastructure, diverse business models, and abundant access to capital, many are eyeing Bitcoin mining as a strategic opportunity. They bring to the table not only financial stability, but also the potential to integrate mining operations with renewable energy sources, addressing both profitability and environmental concerns. When it really comes down to it, successfully mining Bitcoin really comes down to two simple variables. How cheap can you get your energy for, and how big and quickly you can build infrastructure around that energy source. Enterprise-level energy companies are regularly burdened with excess power without a natural buyer, and Bitcoin mining gives them some version of a loud, whirring, hungry hippo that can't get enough of it. So why should you care? If energy companies become the dominant force in Bitcoin mining, it could mark a turning point for the industry. However, centralization concerns around this should be taken seriously, as consolidation amongst energy giants could concentrate mining power into even fewer hands, a problem that Bitcoin already faces with the limited amount of mining pools. But one thing is clear, the future of Bitcoin mining is and always will be intertwined with energy production. Bitcoin's journey has been marked by innovation and adaptation. Heck, the most profitable way to mine these days is starting to look like using Aspera S19s as garage heaters. But if you're on the cutting edge of Bitcoin mining or invested in one of these companies yourself, pay attention, because you might just find yourself owning an energy company instead in the not so distant future. Don't miss René Pickhardt Backstage. Can you provide a brief overview about the Lightning Network and the significance in the Bitcoin ecosystem?
So the Lightning Network is what I usually try to call the payment system of Bitcoin. So it's a protocol how we can exchange Bitcoin in a way that it makes Bitcoin be used for payments. When Satoshi originally published the paper, it was called Bitcoin, a peer-to-peer electronic cash system. So I would say without the Lightning Network, it's really hard to use Bitcoin as cash. So therefore the Lightning Network is kind of like the best idea that we currently have to use Bitcoin actually as cash. Bitcoin is a peer-to-peer open protocol, and the Lightning Network is just what I would would say, a smart way of using it. So who are those people to forbid me using Bitcoin in this way? It's meaningful for me, and I can sign transactions in whatever way I want to sign them and have communication protocols like I'm doing this interview with you right now in however way I please. So yeah, I think those people mostly are not very educated.
Speaking of changing, what are some challenges the Lightning Network is currently facing, and how do you envision them and to be addressed in this evolution?
One of the bigger challenges is routing and liquidity management. Currently, the Lightning Network is not very reliable as a protocol, so it's a little bit like the Internet Protocol. That allowed us to forward data packages across various computers, but we also needed TCP, the Transmission Control Protocol, to make the communication over the internet more reliable. And in the Lightning Network, we currently have a routing layer, but we don't have a reliability layer. So I think that needs to be addressed. There are some ideas floating around, and I think we need way more research in order to get this fixed and to basically extend the protocol. As you said, it's an open protocol, so we can extend it and progress with that.
How do miners play a role in this?
By the end of the day, what the Lightning Network does is it's secured by the security of the ledger, the database, the blockchain that we use in Bitcoin, and the miners are securing that ledger. And the entire security assumption of Lightning builds on the security assumption of Bitcoin. Right? So without Bitcoin miners, the Lightning Network would be very insecure because you could basically roll back the blockchain all the time and basically change who owns channels or what. So Bitcoin mining will still be necessary. The question is who will be the miners. So as we discussed before, it's not clear if Lightning payments will stay cheap because maybe Lightning service providers need to use electricity to do proof of work to secure the Bitcoin ledger, especially in a time when Bitcoin mining may not be profitable. But maybe it's going to be subsidized by the Lightning Network routing nodes, who knows?
But would they need separate, different miners than the ones that are doing it in the actual blockchain?
No, it could be the same. I mean, everybody can participate in mining. It's an open protocol.
Now I feel like as Bitcoin has evolved, the different types of miners, you can't mine from your laptop anymore.
Meant that we use specialized hardware because it's just more cost efficient, so you produce more hashes with the same computing power. By the end of the day, it's an economic question, but I have ASICs in my home and I can use them for heating and mining, so that's certainly possible.
There's a lot of talk of the Lightning enabling micropayments and its potential to impact on global commerce. Can you dive deeper into this and share how you see it playing out in the coming years?
So I think with Bitcoin, one of the problems is the transaction has a certain size, just in bytes, and block space is basically limited. So there is certain amounts that you transact over Bitcoin that are just non-economical, whereas with the Lightning Network, it's kind of like the opposite. Large transactions, high-value transactions or payments are actually rather expensive to do on the Lightning Network, and they're also very unreliable. So with the Lightning Network, it's actually much easier to do small-value Bitcoin payments, and I think that's a solution to a problem because block space by the end of the day is limited. In order to do liquidity management, you need to do on-chain transactions, and providing routing services and Lightning service providers is actually very costly. Currently, it's very much VC funded, and I don't know how the market will evolve there and what payments are going to cost. So I'm not saying they're going to be expensive. I'm not saying they stay cheap. I'm just saying I'm not sure how this will evolve.